This video is going to show you how to create a scene in GoGuardian in order to block sites that you don't want students to go to or allow only specific sites you want your students to go to. So here in the live session that I have, I can come up here to the upper right-hand corner to No Scene Applied, and I can come down here to enact a scene that I have already applied, or I can create a new scene. You can also create a new scene right over here, over Scenes on the left-hand side. So just for the ease of time, I'm going to select No Scene Applied and go to Create a New Scene. I have now the option to allow specific websites or block specific websites. I'm going to go to creating a list of allowed websites because I want my students to complete a quiz on Canvas and not be able to leave the Canvas environment. I'm going to go ahead and select on Create Quiz, and Quiz Time in Canvas is what I'm going to title this list. I can add a description, that's an optional. I can also give the icon color a quick color, so that way whenever I have these set up, it'll just be a quick toggle back and forth. Now I'm going to go ahead and select Next up here, and this is where you're going to start to generate your list of allowed websites. Now, if you just simply clicked on Canvas and select on Search, this is going to give you other school districts' URLs in order for them to go to their specific Canvas course. We have to go to our specific ones located here in Zionsville because we have our own URL for that. So a few websites students might need to have access to go is zcs.k12.in.us. So I'm going to navigate my way back to GoGuardian, and that's going to be the website I'm going to go ahead and paste on, select on Search. And so now I want to make sure that I add that website because that's going to be a website students are going to have access to in order to get to Canvas. I'm also going to navigate back to the website, go under Students, click on the portal, because this portal website is going to be where students are most likely going to access their Canvas page. So as soon as this URL generates, that's the URL that I'm going to go ahead and copy on, and then I'm going to also paste into my scene because that also needs to be allowed as well for students in order for them to get in. So I'm going to go ahead and add that as well because they need to be able to access the portal and then also access ZCS. I'm also going to need to snag the dashboard as well for the ZCS Canvas instance. So again, I'm going to grab that URL there because these are all the steps that the students are going to need to take in order to get into the Canvas course and into that specific quiz. So now that I'm ready for a specific quiz in my specific course, I'm going to go ahead and snag that URL that students are only going to have access to. Now, in order for that URL to be complete, I'm going to select on Student View. And now I'm going to have this URL that populates at the top. I'm going to grab that and then come back to here and paste that directly right into the screen. So now I have that specific quiz that I created in Canvas, and now that is going to be the only availability that that student is going to be able to access. Now I'm going to select Add. And so now all of the websites the students should automatically be able to get to. You can also suggest to auto-open a specific website if you just simply want the students to get into the portal right away. You can set a tab limit for students to be able to allow them to have how many tabs that they have open at one time. This might be a good idea to limit this to 1 or perhaps 2. That way students don't have the availability to have something else open while they are taking your quiz. I'm going to go ahead and go over here and then select Save. And now I have that specific quiz time in Canvas saved to be able to then have that allowed. Same process is going to be with the blocked websites list. I can go on to Create List, and this one is going to be, for example, no social media. Now I'm going to go ahead and select Next. And so now on here, I can just type in social media. And then it's going to give me a list of some of the different social media websites that they might have. Now, social media looks like it's a pretty broad website. So now I'm going to go ahead and go specific with Instagram. And now I can add all of these in here. Log into Facebook, can't be able to get into X, can't be able to get into Netflix, nor TikTok. So now all of these are going to be limited. I'm going to go ahead and select Save as well. Now I'm going to head back to my course that I have live. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply that scene. I'm going to select on apply a scene, and I'm going to select that for my entire class. And now what scene do I want? Do I want them to have a no social media, or do I want them to have the quiz time? I'm going to select the quiz time in Canvas because we're about to take that quiz. So now once I select that, I'm now automatically from Crew's login page, it is now letting me directly to that website of the login that I'm now going to need to do to access my Canvas course. So now that I'm in here, I'm going to go ahead and select on courses. And so what I'm doing on Crew's side, you should be able to also see right here. And then I'm going to go to my quiz. And now this is the quiz that I was going to be needing to take into my course. Now you can have multiple scenes going on at one time. I have quiz time in Canvas on this one. I have no scene applied, so maybe these are students that get done. And then I have this one here too as well. I can simply grab Crew Screen and move him and toggle him into different groups that I have the different scenes on. Now, let's say that you accidentally blocked a screen that the kids were actually supposed to have access to. You can simply select unblock for class, but if you want to take a look at the screen and see what his screen looks like, you're like, you know what, he was actually just trying to get to Instructure, then that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and unblock it for the class. And now I'm going to update that scene. And now he should have that availability to get there. So I didn't do anything on my end other than allow it for the entire class because maybe that was an accident on my behalf. And I needed to have students have access to that. So that happens at different times and it's an easy, quick toggle. Now I'm going to go ahead and get out of that screen. So now Crew should only be able to be in that specific quiz time in Canvas. And this is where you can, again, quickly grab the students, and then maybe he's not going to have any scenes because when he's done with his assignment, he can head to any website of his choice, and maybe one of those choices is going to be YouTube. And it's not blocked anymore because he's now in Group B, which doesn't have any scenes at all applied. There are also a few more scenes that you can have automatically applied, and this is just kind of using a little bit of artificial intelligence provided from GoGuardian. I'm going to go to a blocked websites list and go to create list. We're going to call this one no YouTube. And then I'm going to choose YouTube to be a cherry red because that's going to help me to remember. I'm going to go ahead and select next. And over here, I have something called quick lists. Quick lists are lists that are already created from GoGuardian that say you might want to have some of these be specific lists that you're interested in order to block or allow. So there are so many different options that you can have. You can also have them auto open into tabs every time that they come in. So maybe you want students just to navigate their way to Canvas every time they come into your course. That can be a specific scene that you allow for students. Maybe you have the advanced filtering, and then this is where you have your exceptions. You can have current blocked websites that you never allow at any time. So there are so many different options that you have as the educator in your classroom to be able to make sure you're setting up those guardrails for students. So now I'm going to head back to the course that I have had created, and now it's time for me to end my session. I'm going to go ahead and select end session, and now I have completed my session for that day, and now I'm ready to move on to my next class.